This is the issue with the question, why does Hollywood only feel the need to replace white characters with black characters and not the other way around? Historically, white characters were white simply because that's just what was all around these writers. However, black characters are usually created to be black. Kirby said himself that he and Lee created Black Panther because they realized that their black readers weren't getting enough positive representation. That's why a white man playing T'Challa would hurt the character, as it literally disrespects the entire point of his creation. Even beyond Black Panther, we have Luke Cage, a man who grew up in Harlem, a predominantly black neighborhood, who was created based on the blaxploitation subgenre of action movies during the 1970s. Miles Morales' stories usually involve themes of systemic issues, and his parents' ethnic background usually comes back to create conflict in his stories in some ways. Not only that, but Miles' creation was heavily inspired by Obama's presidency, Donald Glover's public wish to play Spider-Man, and comic book fans' huge push to include a more diverse set of superheroes. And for the record, it's not even like this idea is only on one side of the spectrum. I have been very vocal about how Red Skull has to be a white European because he was a Nazi in World War II. And before you try to pull in, actually, there were black Nazis in World War II, none of them had the insane amount of power and rank that white men had and were usually nothing more than slaves or soldiers. You know, exactly how grifters view black people in Hollywood. I would even argue that Steve Rogers being white is an important aspect to his character, as he represents the idea of the Nazis' golden child, an attractive, strong, blonde, blue-eyed, brave white man, but instead of being on their side, he combats everything they believe in. However, this does not mean the mantle of Captain America can't be passed down to other people with different ethnic backgrounds, as the mantle of Captain America itself is flexible and symbolic depending on who is carrying the shield. This is precisely why Snape being black doesn't inherently hurt anything about his characters. Snape's story is about betrayal, pain, loyalty, and redemption, none of which are exclusive to him being white. That's the answer to this question. White people have dominated entertainment for years, and there usually isn't anything inherently white about any of these characters. However, black characters are usually created to be black because black people have been pushed out of these stories due to systemic issues, and when writers realized this, they sought to correct this mistake.